We have reported just a short while ago, there's reprieve at the judiciary after its budget for this current financial year has been restored pending the determination of a case that was brought to the court by the Law Society of Kenya. But that is just one facet of the row between the executive and the judiciary. And one of the others is the appointment of judges. Now, as you know, the row over the appointment of judges has become the latest flashpoint in the standoff between the judiciary and the executive. Now, I want us to take a look at the big number today. And this is it. The big number at the center of that row is 41. The number of serving judges and lawyers who were to be appointed as judges in the Court of Appeal, the Environment and Lands Court, and the Employment and Labor Relations Court. There's been so much back and forth between legal minds over why the president has not appointed the nominees. But it is important to understand the process so that you can follow the debate. So I'd like us to start at the beginning, and that is with the JSC, the body that is at the heart of the process. Now, it has 11 members. The Chief Justice, who is the chair of the commission, one Supreme Court judge who is elected by the judges of the Supreme Court. You have one Court of Appeal judge who is elected by the judges of the Court of Appeal. You have one High Court judge, one magistrate. Gender balance is applied here. So you have one man, one woman, who are elected by the members of the Association of Judges and Magistrates. Then you also have the Attorney General. Okay, and you have two advocates, one man, one woman, who are elected by the LSK, and then you have one person who's nominated by the Public Service Commission, and finally, one man and one woman to represent the public. They're appointed by the president with Parliament's approval. Now, let's pause there for a moment, because I want us to now get into the process of appointing them. Now, for that, you have to take a look at the JSC Act. Now, for the procedure of appointment, the JSC publishes vacancies and then receives applications which it then considers. Within 14 days of the deadline for the applications, the Commission then reviews them and considers whether they are complete and all documents and requirements for the application have been met. They'll be looking at whether the candidates meet the basic constitutional requirements for their position. Now, in 21 days of this initial review, the JSC will now do what is known as a reference check. They contact all references who've been listed by the applicants and ask them to comment on the applicants' qualifications. What they tell the JSC is kept confidential. Now, the next step is then the background check, and that is done within 30 days of the reference check. They do a personal background check with the relevant professional bodies, and they're looking for anything in the candidate's background that could pose a problem for the judiciary should they be appointed. Now, this process of investigation can go up on right until the time the JSC members take a vote. After this, the JSC now publishes the names of the applicants on its website and also in the Kenya Gazette. And they then give dates and times for the interviews. And here is where you come in at this point. Now, they invite any member of the public with any information they have relating to any of the applicants. They then interview those members of the public who submit this information pertaining to the applicant. Now, for the interviews stage, applicants are given at least 14 days notice of the interview. The interviews, as you know, are done in public. Now, the JSC during this interview process is looking for a number of things in the candidate. Integrity is, of course, top amongst them. Commitment to public service, experience both in life and in legal affairs, common sense, good judgment, and much more. By the way, all of these are clearly and specifically outlined in the Act. Now, 7 days after the conclusion of the interviews, the commissioners then take a vote to select the most qualified candidates. They take into account gender, regional and ethnic diversities. Now, in order for one to be nominated for recommendation to appointment, an applicant must get 3 or more votes in the affirmative. So 7 days after this vote is done, the JSC will then inform all candidates of its decision, those who made it and those who didn't. The names of the successful candidates are then posted on the website. Now, this is where the president comes in. His role is outlined in the Constitution in Article 166. which states that he will appoint the judges based on the recommendations of the JSC. Now, I want you to remember that this whole process happened about 3 months ago. Now, when these names got to the president, what did he do? He declined to appoint the 41 successful candidates. He cited a number of reasons: the economic conditions, and he also raised issues of integrity. The head of public service, Joseph Kinyua, said the president had not appointed the 41 because the JSC had, one, not consulted with Treasury, SRC, and Parliament over the financial implication of the appointments. Now, there are enough judges already. Now, he also said this, that he had received adverse reports about some of the candidates. But a lawyer known as Adrian Kamodo, that's this man right here, disagreed and went to court. He termed the president's delay as, quote, unreasonable and unconstitutional. And he wants the candidates appointed immediately to discharge their constitutional mandate. That's where we are with this story. Now, the matter will be heard next week on the 12th. Those are the facts as at this moment. And that is our explainer tonight.